No problem.
Not sure what's happening here. Hi. How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Good.
Matt.
Matt is, I'm gonna assume, actually Karen, who is a new board
Sorry, I
member.
logged in as my husband's Zoom. Let me change that.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, how are you?
Great, thanks. How are you?
Good. Karen.
There you are.
Yes.
That doesn't look like.
Sound the alarm. Hi, Paul.
All right, I'll leave.
Say bye.
Hello,
Sarah.
everybody.
Yes.
I could not, Sue pointed out that we couldn't find the minutes on the agenda online. And I
Yeah.
noticed that it was posted, but I didn't see it.
It was posted, but they didn't put it on the website. I saw that also.
I couldn't find it anywhere. Does that mean we can't have one if it's not technically posted?
I don't know.
What are we talking, the minutes or the agenda?
Nothing was,
Nothing was
Posted.
posted on.
Oh,
although we got an
Commissioners.
email
We
that
got
said,
an email from the
Right.
clerk saying it was posted.
yeah,
Thank you.
I couldn't find the minutes from the last meeting. I was not in attendance, so I don't know.
Let me see if I can reach somebody really quick.
because we may
They're
not
in
be
the
able,
pack. The minutes from the last meeting were in the packet because that's where I read them.
right, but we should be able to have a posted meeting
Yeah.
so that anyone in the audience can,
Right. I just didn't know if you knew they were in the packet, but yeah.
and then I had trouble logging in, so sorry about this.
Oh. No. Oh my God. Sorry.
Oh, so Paul thinks that we just can't make voting decisions, judging by his time on school committee. So we can meet, but he doesn't think that, well, I can't vote on anything anymore. And I want to welcome Nancy and Karen to the group. You guys are going to be great. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have big shoes to fill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
happy to be here and try.
Thank you. Karen, thank you for your note. That was very sweet of you. Send me that note after the selectmen meeting.
So I don't know the answer to this question. We just missed the closure of town hall. They closed at 7. It's now 7:05.
I have Jim's phone number and I'll just call him. So what is our question? If we don't have I know the
that
man
works.
has no, if we don't have a posted agenda, can we meet? Is that the question?
Right. Well, we gotta let them know we got an email from the town clerk's office saying it was posted, but it's not actually on the town's website. So
Okay,
I'm
and
not
we're
sure.
sure about that?
We're
Yeah.
sure, I just double checked it.
Okay, I'm gonna call him up right now and ruin his dinner.
I like your mobile office.
Yes, I
Yeah,
do
you're like,
too,
I'm in the car.
Marguerite.
I'm in Maine. This woman's in Maine, sitting in a parking lot. Can you stand
Wow.
it?
I'm
Do I love
impressed.
the youth commission enough to just do this? I don't know.
Hi, this is Jim Haggerty. I can't take your call right now. Please leave your name and your phone number, and I'll return your call shortly. Thank you.
Hi, Jim. It's
At the
Margaret.
tone, please record your
Oh,
message.
shush,
When
shush,
you've finished recording, you may hang up. Press 1 for more options.
Hi, Jim. It's Marguerite. I'm calling to ruin your dinner. Listen, the youth commission is meeting and the agenda was sent to the townhouse to meetings and received a confirmation email. It was received, but apparently is not findable on the town website. So I guess the fine point of order would be, can we hold a meeting if the agenda is not posted on the town website? Anyway, call anytime, 508-736-2754. Thanks a million, as always. Bye. So that's not very helpful.
Well, what Sue said was that we think we could just hold a meeting but not vote on anything.
Okay,
It sounds, well, we can't.
it
hold a
sounds weird.
meeting.
Are we violating
I'm
open
not sure if
meeting
we can
law
do
by
that.
having a meeting without a posted agenda?
Yeah, I'm not
Right.
sure that we can.
Can we Google it? We can-
Karen
think
and
we
Nancy,
can.
welcome to the fun.
So I'm thinking,
Right.
This
I
has
just did
never
that
happened
training.
before, actually, so,
No, this
No,
is-
other things have happened, but this thing has
Yes.
never happened.
correct.
I think maybe we should not have the meeting.
I was hoping that maybe Jim would listen to his message and call Marguerite right back, but let's just try to troubleshoot for a couple more minutes, if that's okay.
Yeah,
I might have somebody else I could ask.
what about Ryan?
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Can we not say anything either?
I know, I think we're not having a meeting, so as long as we don't discuss the meeting.
I don't
Okay.
think we've called the meeting to order, so.
Oh, okay.
Google is not helpful. It's a lot of legalese.
I'm on Mass General Laws. It says, shall post the notice in a manner prescribed for local public bodies. Notice shall be filed in the office of the county commissioners, and a copy of the notice shall be publicly posted in a manner conspicuously visible to the public at all hours. That was the closest thing I see to an answer.
We
Yeah.
haven't really done that, have we?
It's not conspicuously visible.
No.
But on Thursday afternoon, we got the email back from the town hall that said it had been posted.
Yeah, I had a similar-ish experience with another agenda.
Okay.
Let me try. I think Ryan's at the library. I'll try him there. Hang on.
Guys, I have Jim Haggerty on the phone right now, so let me just talk to him. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, new people.
It's generally not quite this confusing, so. we're just trying to follow the open meeting laws.
Well, that makes
There's-
sense. Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
there's a lot of legal stuff that we could churn through, but
Well, I just have to say, moving was hard.
oh my gosh, I can't imagine. Where are you, Sue? We're gonna
I'm,
miss you.
I'm at, I'm gonna miss you, all of you too. I'm at the Cape. I'm sitting at a table in my kitchen right now. But the last day when the door was shut and there was nothing left inside was pretty incredible. So,
Yeah, that is.
but it's
we're
okay.
We're doing that with my dad's house right now. He just got a condo at Duxbury Villages, and so we're parceling out. Oh, it's just going to be really hard. I hired my best friend to do it because she knows my dad, and I'm like, it's just way too much sentimental stuff going on.
Yeah, the photographs, I think, in the letters and cards were the hardest part because that
Yep.
stopped me from doing any work.
Yep.
But
Sorry, Sarah, did you find an answer?
I
Oh.
did.
Oh.
We are good to go. It was just not posted in the right place. And Jim
Okay.
confirmed that it was posted and he's gonna fix it right now.
oh, good. Oh, good.
So
Okay,
I'm gonna pass the baton to you, Lauren, and we can
All right.
commence this meeting. We have enough voting members present, so we're good with it.
okay, now to make it worse, I have to leave at 8.
Okay,
We can do this.
Fire may be able to join us when she gets off work or gets back. She said about 7:30.
And I can't vote anymore.
That's right.
Okay.
Why don't we first do Youth Commission member updates?
I don't think we've called the
We
meeting
gotta
to
call
order
them,
yet, right?
yeah.
Sorry, I thought it had. So, oh boy, I haven't done this in a while. We don't have to read this anymore, right? So it's just that,
Let's not.
so I'll call the Southborough Youth Commission meeting to order at 7:13 PM on Tuesday, September 13th, 2022.
Second. Oh, I can't do that anymore. Never mind.
I'll second.
I don't think we need to vote to call to order. I think we
No.
just need to vote to adjourn.
Right. So while Sue is here, why don't we do the Youth Commission member updates? We unfortunately, we couldn't announce this at the last meeting because it wasn't a done deal yet, but Sue resigned over the last month and has moved out of Southborough. But Sue has put in 9 years on the Youth Commission and was chair for 3 years. I certainly, she welcomed me into the Youth Commission, and she's just such a welcoming person, and has assisted with outreach. She's added so much to the Youth Commission and to the town's work in Southborough Youth and Family Services. Sarah, do you want to say a few words?
yeah, I would love to just publicly thank Sue for doing things outside of her comfort zone at times, and for the sake of the department's mission and for the people that we serve. You went above and beyond with trying to advocate for the needs of the department, marching into Mark Purple's office with a whole crew of people at times, and being in front of the select board, and all of that was nerve-wracking, but you never hesitated to do any of it. And so we were very fortunate to have you on our board, and in the leadership role that you took on, and just always very, I've heard many people say how sincere you are And that's absolutely true. And your willingness to help others is part of that. So we've been very fortunate to have you for these last, it feels like it's longer than 9 years, but yeah, and we're grateful that you'll continue to stay involved, hopefully as much as you can, through Friends of the Southborough Youth Commission.
We still get to see you through that. That'd be great.
I will. I have to again welcome Karen and Nancy to the group. And when I first joined, I'm going to make it quick because I don't want the meeting to be too long, but I thought it was all about the holiday giving program and camperships, and it is so much more. When I first met everybody, it was Sarah and Lori and Megan as a part-time employee, and with pushing the town and trying to advocate for our residents and for the department, we have the most wonderful department. I have loved working with all of you. I think we have the best board ever, and it continues to get better. And I wish you all the luck. It will always be a part of my heart, this department and the town. And it's the right thing to do for the town. I cannot tell you how cohesive the group, the department is. Sarah can probably talk about that too. It's a remarkable department. So I thank you for your friendship and your support. If you ever have any questions, please reach out. And Karen, I'll reach out to you about our next Friends meeting. I told Leslie that you're very
Okay.
much interested. So now you're signed up, whether you like it or not.
Okay.
But I will miss you. I will miss all of you. And I also, it's not really goodbye because I feel like I've met friends for life. So thank you.
Thank you, Sue. And then we are welcoming Nancy Sutton and Karen Englam. And don't want to put you on the spot, but I am. If you could just give a very brief introduction to yourselves of why you found an interest in the program, what your interest is.
I can go.
Karen.
That's
No,
okay.
go ahead.
Okay. I'm Nancy Sutton. Basically, throughout the pandemic and throughout my life too, I've had some of my own struggles with anxiety, and I'm open to saying that publicly. I think throughout that, reaching out to people and getting the help I needed makes me a stronger person. So I'm definitely someone who's about anti-stigma for mental health issues. And, also, during the pandemic, I was helping a family member get through things and struggled with interface issues and things like that. And being in town and having two girls who are 12 and 17, I feel like I have a lot of information coming in on what's going on in the schools. And, our schools are wonderful. I love our town. And I definitely, wanted to help out in some way in town. And I feel like this is a really good fit for me because I really believe in what this department does and I want to help. So here I am.
Welcome, Nancy.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I guess my turn.
Yes, please.
So I've done a lot of volunteering, and a lot of it has been, coaching and sports. And I wanted to find a different avenue as my kids have gotten older. I'm still very active in Girl Scouts, and I've seen the girls progress. And I love that they have this cohesive unit that they can rely on, and it's like a support network. And it's not about who's the best athlete, who's the best, smartest or whatever. And my daughter has started doing some youth commission or youth council activities at Trottier, and she's been so excited about that. And I just think there's such a need to talk about mental health and our, our happiness in that kind of way, instead of just always focusing on the sports and the academics and everything else. And so to make well-rounded, happy children. So like Nancy, I'm passionate about it. And I have 2 children. My son is 15 and my daughter's 12. And so I think I can bring to the table, you know, some aspect of having some kids and knowing a lot about the town. I've been in Southborough for 21 years now. And I've recently stepped down from a full-time software development job. And so I've had some more time on my hands, and I'd like to, you know, pay back and give back and do some more volunteering.
Wonderful.
Perfect, perfect. That's wonderful.
So I think that will do it. Sue, you're welcome to stay with us, or we're going to move on to meeting minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna leave you now. And I want you to have a great night and welcome again. And I will talk to all of you soon.
Yes.
Yes, I hope so.
Bye,
too.
Sue. We miss you
Dedication.
already.
Love you.
Love you too. Bye, guys.
Bye.
So we'll move on to a review of the July 26 minutes that Marguerite was so kind to have taken for us.
Thank you, Marguerite.
You're welcome. Thank you for doing it all the time, though, really.
Yes, definitely. I noticed a couple of things. I went back and listened to the first few minutes of the meeting, and the minutes from the June 14th minutes weren't tabled. They were moved to accept as amended with a just one word update from unanimous to anonymous. And then I have that was seconded by Susan Byer. Marguerite moved to accept as amended. And we have that it was David, Susan Byer, Marguerite, and Lauren for voting on that. So that
Those were the June 14th minutes, right?
right. So
Yeah.
right. And
They
then-
weren't tabled, but they were approved as amended.
That's correct.
Okay.
And then just for clarity's sake, on section 5 on the ARPA funding update, $5,000 was marked for marketing and outreach, but it wasn't used yet. So just to, we probably eliminate the word used right there. And then in section 6, sorry, there was a request for clinical supervision. I think it just said supervision before. And then lastly, I think there's just a typo with on 6C with Lauren with there's a T at the end, but does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
What
Okay.
was it on section 6C, Lauren? Just repeat that for me.
Lauren, it should just say Lauren pointed out that there are funds in the donation account. All right. And other than that, those are the edits that I had. Does anyone else have any other edits or comments?
So I move to accept as amended.
Do I have a second for that?
I'm gonna have to abstain because
Yeah, I guess I can, I can second, right?
Yeah.
Can I?
Yes.
So let's see. We have Marguerite Landry,
Aye.
Lauren Ritchie. Sue Byer's not here.
Mm-mm. David's not here.
David is not here. We can have votes if someone chooses to vote, they can. How are we gonna do this?
Well, I don't see Karen and other name, I'm
Nancy.
blanking.
Nancy,
Nancy, thank you. Sorry, Nancy. Karen and Nancy can vote on it even though they weren't here, but most times people want to not vote on it if they weren't there. I don't know
Right.
why, but they
Oh,
can.
Susan's
Sue
here.
Byers here.
Okay, so good.
Yeah. Susan, thank you for raising your hand. She
What's that?
promoted her to panelist.
Oh, okay. We'll just give her a moment to pop up.
Susan, are
Okay, what do I need to hit here?
Just the video,
there?
we have just a
Can you-
photograph.
You can hear me though, right?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
which is good
It's
too.
your husband
So
with the oranges in the snow, right?
Yeah. That's getting quite famous, I think.
Yes.
But what do I hit to join you? In a minute. Just hit join. Ah, shoot.
Can you turn on your camera?
is there a camera icon?
There is, that's, I keep hitting it, but oh, I'm getting this Bob with the oranges.
Okay. Well, I don't mind if you are Bob with the oranges, as long as you can hear us.
Okay, I can hear you.
Susan, we were just taking, we did a review of the minutes and, I had pointed out 3 amendments, including that the review of the minutes from the 6/14 meeting were not tabled, but were accepted as amended. And then 3 other small updates, including removing the word use from 5K, clinical supervision, adding clinical supervision, the term clinical supervision, and then adding that Lauren pointed out that there are funds in the donations account. So Marguerite moved to
Approve the minute.
accept those minutes as
Except
amendments.
as amended. Right.
And we were just about to have a vote. We're getting kind of low on votes here. So Marguerite and I had just voted. And I don't know, Sarah, are you able to vote or would you like to abstain?
For myself, well, I
Yeah.
didn't attend the meeting and I couldn't find the minutes, so I feel slightly uncomfortable doing it, but I trust that my colleague Marguerite did a great job.
Well, I'd call it a B.
No, you were like, the batter up. So, the pinch hitter, as they say.
If I were to do a roll call vote, what would be your final decision on that?
I will approve.
Okay, Susan Byer?
I approve, yay.
Okay, that we have 4 votes on that.
So we have a quorum.
So we have a quorum for that.
Okay.
Thank you, and no one should ever feel like they have to say that. So we can always go back and table it for another time.
No, I trust my other board members
Okay.
to make good decisions on behalf of the board in the minutes.
All
Although
right,
I am a little bit of a control freak about them, so.
thank you for taking them.
Yeah.
We'll move on to the director's report. Sarah?
Yep, I'm just going to pull it up. So obviously, without going into detail about everything that's written there, I'll just, typically what I do at this point in the agenda is just highlight a few things. So Summer tends to be quieter for us, so August was our last month of summer. Staff take vacations. We've got, fewer clients coming into the office, so we do a lot more work around planning for the school year, this summer included. So we brought on board another graduate level intern, a male, which is very exciting, Rafael Rodriguez. He's bilingual, which is also very exciting. And he started with us on August 29th, so at the end of the month. We did some development of a new program that we're calling an anxiety skills training, which is sort of a step between having no support and having counseling support. This is an 8 to 10 week program that we offer Southborough youth to get a quick assessment on what's causing them anxiety, what's contributing to it, and help them build their toolbox and see if giving them some concrete strategies is helpful enough that that's all they need. So we worked on that this summer. We did a lot
Is
of,
that a group type kind of?
it's actually one-on-one.
Okay.
So we have, I think I've shared this with you all in the past, that being a town department, this is actually not unique to just Southborough Youth and Family, but to many other youth and family service departments, that we struggle with getting participation in groups, because when you're guaranteed, we can only work with Southborough residents, which means that anybody that attends our groups is guaranteed to be a Southborough resident, and you have less anonymity that way. We are, as I've shared previously, still having conversation with other youth and family service departments in the area to see if we can partner with each other, so that way we can have groups that cover 2 or 3 communities with staff from 2 or 3 youth and family service departments running them. So for now, we know that one-on-one services are where people are most comfortable and where they get the most benefit from right now, but we're not able to provide outpatient counseling to everyone that's in need of support, nor does everybody need that level of support. So this is sort of a step in between that. So we started advertising for that. And I think that's something else I would highlight here, that we did go into the schools at the end of August. We went to Finn, Woodward, Neary. Actually, it was just those 3, Finn, Woodward, and Neary, to do outreach. So those of you who have done that with us before, we gave out pre-stuffed bags. And I think, if I can go back to my notes somewhere in here, we gave out, it was somewhere around 500 bags or pieces of paper. Once again, we ran out, and I frantically ran to the office to make copies of things. So that's our best estimate of how much information we gave out, but it was successful, and that was one of the places that we advertised the anxiety skills training, which was great.
Sarah, how many
Yes.
participants have you had in the anxiety skills training program?
Well, we just started it.
You
So
just started it.
we've had four people reach out to us already to sign their to find out if it's a good fit for their children. We do screen the calls because in some situations it's not an appropriate fit. For example, we had one somebody who was interested, and we actually felt they would be better served by counseling services based off of their history with the anxiety at this point and what services they've already tried. So we follow the same process for anybody interested in this service as we do with our counseling services. Megan has a conversation with the family first to find out the history and the needs, and then we decide what to do moving forward. So we do have, I believe, 2 people who are planning to start this particular program with 2 of our staff. So I'm trying to remember, I think it was 8:31. Yeah, so not last week, but the week before was when we first shared the information about that training or that service.
Well, I would expect you to have people running to the doors in a mall.
Possibly. We somewhat anticipate that too, but they've got to see the information first. So we've done a lot of legwork with, oh, hold on, I have a child who's decided to play soccer in the kitchen at the moment. Excuse me 1 second.
And I wanted to just bring up that anytime, this is very casual, so we won't call on you for questions. You can just ask at any time if you have a question. Karen and Nancy.
Thanks.
Sorry about that. One of the downsides of having virtual meetings is positives and downsides. We've done a lot of work with the Northborough, Southborough Coalition, including the prospect of a name change. It's actually the Northborough, Southborough Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition, which is just too much to say. So we've started an ad hoc committee to rebrand ourselves, but we've made an entire set of bylaws for our coalition. We have started working on recruitment and data collection. So a lot of exciting things there. Let's see. We've had a couple of visitors come to our staff meetings. Just we do that now and again where we try to make new connections with outside agencies. So we had Lily Pearl from Out Metro West came to one of our staff meetings to share more about Out Metro West and training opportunities for us and for the community. And then we had Stacy Bancroft, who is a Southborough resident, but also longtime. She wears many hats. So how do I characterize Stacy? She's starting a new consulting firm, which helps support families who may be experiencing a need for behavior management at home, and also helping them with developing leisure skills, if that makes sense. So she does a number of other things too. I'm not characterizing it well enough, but she was coming to us to share about her new consultation service, as we are likely to have a number of people who would benefit from that. That's sort of the highlights section of the director's report. We have a lot of other upcoming events happening. I believe further on in the agenda, I'll talk about Heritage Day. For example, Trunk or Treat is coming up, which is a fun thing. So I provided you with stats for the month of August and a budget update. And then also, oh boy, a strategic plan update. Hold on again, sorry. I was upstairs for a reason, but my internet was not working properly. The strategic plan, I gave an update on that. That has actually been taking me quite a long time to write. So I'm going to try something different for next month that looks a little bit more like a progress report on the different goals and objectives in the strategic plan. So you'll all have to give me some feedback on if it still gives you enough information. But
I can imagine that takes a long time. I was reading through it, and I think maybe if you just do like you have in your highlights, like write the objective and just write one bullet about each
yeah,
thing.
I think that's where I'm gonna, Christina's helping me out with putting together a graphic organizer of all of the
Good.
information so that I can just write what the current status is and what needs to happen next, something to that effect.
I think that would be great.
Technology still continues to be a challenge. I'll just say that. So, but I have a meeting tomorrow with a representative from the Mass Municipal Association through the Human Service Council, because IT needs are a common issue across all youth and family service departments that I've talked to. And we've thrown the idea around a number of times about seeing if there's any resources available for us or support available for us through the Mass Municipal Association.
So
I'm-
Sarah, excuse
yeah.
me, but IT needs means that it's like you feel like the things have gotten so much more complicated, you need more training in how to use the technology.
No, it means that we don't have technology. We don't know. This is not a reflection whatsoever of our town's IT department. We need in our department systems, software to be able to manage all of the information in one place. It was a fantastic step forward for us to gain an electronic health record system. We have therapy notes. That is a great place for us to house all of our information about our mental health services, but we can't use it for anything else. So we continue to need, and Therapy Notes does not collect data and report on it. So we still have to extract data from Therapy Notes, put it in somewhere else, and generate our own reports by manually entering information into an Excel spreadsheet. We also
Is there a software that's available that will do this?
no.
Okay.
I mean, not entirely, no. The issue is that we've looked into so many different options. It does everything we've looked at, does almost everything, but not this. And then we look at a different solution, it says it does almost everything, but not that. And that's where our frustration comes in, because we all feel as though, and this is absolutely true, that being a municipal provider of behavioral health and social services is unique, that there isn't something out there that exists that's the right fit for us. Everybody is using something different. And while it's better than nothing, everybody still feels that their software solutions fall short of meeting their needs entirely. And so I can't tell you how many times I've gotten together with other YFS directors and we've spent the entire 2-hour meeting just talking about technology and software and what people use for what. And, we're kind of,
but you're still
feels like
kind of
we're patching things
pinching,
together.
you're patching it together, yes. Because I know
Yeah.
first it was Post-it notes and then it was the software. So that's like a quarter of the problem solved. But there's
Right.
still a lot of other
I'm
stuff. yeah.
wondering if you went to like Harvard Public Health, one of the big public health programs, and asked them, because there might be IT people that are working on these kind of issues, because I think this is probably, it's unique, but it's common across a lot of town municipalities now, not just in Massachusetts, but
Yeah.
across the country, because I think communities, community-based mental health programs are the grassroots, and we've kind of evolved from being the Halloween party people to actually providing these kind of services. And I think this has happened across the country, especially in the past 3 years with COVID and everything kind of going virtual, and people taking a look at how to best provide mental health services to people in communities. So I have this feeling that there might be something out there.
Absolutely. The problem is we don't have the time, the bandwidth to go searching for
Yeah,
it. And
yeah.
that's why I'm consulting with.
Yeah,
with
no, I think
SMA.
that's a great idea.
We also don't have the resources per se.
You mean the
A lot
money?
of
Is
us,
that the money? Is that the money we're talking?
yeah, or the knowledge, the know-how. We're
Yeah.
not IT people ourselves, so I'm not even sure what I'm looking for. I'd love to work on it, but I have limited time to do so, and I
Right.
don't know what I'm looking for. So, so that's another
It's
reason.
kind of a catch
Somebody that could
22,
work
isn't
on
it?
our
Yeah,
behalf
yeah.
to help us find a solution that works.
I
It's
think
not a huge ask, you know, what we need is pretty easy. A lot of us daydream about pooling our resources and hiring somebody who can sit down with us and hear us out and hear what we're looking for and then develop something, or amend something that already exists, like in a public health department or something like that. But
Because that sounds like that having someone develop something and work with it sounds like you'd be ironing the bugs out of that for 3 years. But I'm wondering, what does like Harvard University in their hospitals use for software for something like that? I mean, it seems like there must be a program out there somewhere, and then we could raise money to buy it if we need to.
yeah, the challenge, so I was not looking at hospitals as much as I was looking at colleges and universities, because if you think of a college or a university, it's like its own community. And it's also not charging students, but for the most part, you know, what we do kind of mirrors what college counseling centers are doing for their community. What I've found up to this point is almost so customizable that we need a staff member to learn how to program it. So we're looking for something that's more cloud-based, that's, you know, not going to depend on someone internally. Anytime we need to make a change to have to bring that person in. And, you know, we had a couple of other solutions that we thought about. Microsoft Access was one that somebody brought to our attention, but that's another one that is so involved.
That has to be homegrown. It's really very difficult.
Yeah.
You would have to hire a full-time person to manage.
Right.
It. I used to develop those databases. They're great once you get them going, but
once you get them going, but right, anytime and you know, the data we want to collect changes from one year to the next. So it makes it, for us, it would really be more beneficial to have something that's cloud-based for that reason.
So Sarah, is this data that you're collecting to report back to the town? Or is it data that you're collecting to report back to the state? Or what is the data collection for?
Well, we want to collect demographic data. So we'd like to be able to collect, you know, one of our goals in our strategic plan is around diversity, equity, and inclusion. So in order for us to be able to measure whether we're able to meet that goal or not, we have to have a baseline of who is it we're serving. So when, you know, this last year, or actually this last year, we've done our most thorough job of collecting demographic information about the ages of people we served, how they found out about us. So it's not, you know, it's things that we want to report back to you and to the town, but it's also helpful for us to know whether we're meeting the needs of the community and what are the needs of the community. So we need to collect data for that reason, and we need to be able to report on it. But we also, just for ease of, so I'll just share right now still, if we had, I'm just gonna pick Karen, because I think actually both Karen and Nancy did a workshop. If we had Karen and Nancy do a workshop, and that's their only time that they've utilized one of our services, where does that information live, and how does that fit in with all of the other people who have received services in our department for various reasons? We don't have a centralized database where we could plug in Sutton and pull up Nancy's information, find out what she's done with us, what her phone number is. All of that lives in this massive Excel spreadsheet right now that we have on a password protected server, which is not.
That's really cumbersome, isn't it? It's really
it's
cumbersome.
This Excel spreadsheet, I'm not kidding, is like 21
crazy.
pages long. It's
I mean,
so we need something different.
does it have to meet HIPAA requirements? Does it just have to, any requirements? I don't.
Well, it depends. Ideally, it would be HIPAA compliant so that we had full flexibility with it. But if it's something like Constant Contact, for example, which is another issue entirely, we're looking for something that we can email. We don't have a way of emailing more than 20 people at once because the town's email will flag it as spam as soon as we do that. So Constant Contact, we can throw everybody
But
in
can't
there.
you just buy Constant Contact?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So we can put everybody's information in Constant Contact and not have it be HIPAA compliant. But the minute we start saying this person received this service, this person received that service, which is all important information to us, that's when we need it to be HIPAA compliant, because some of the services we provide are confidential while other things are not. Does that make sense? It's complicated. So anyway, we continue to look for IT solutions, and I feel confident we will get there one day. It's just slow and steady.
Sarah, you said you were doing some demo, like you've been looking at some different products. Is there any way that you could, is there site, because being a former software person, you know, it's like put in an enhancement request. So if enough people ask for a new feature, maybe it'll get added to the product eventually.
We have done that with both Therapy Notes, and there was something else we were looking at, which was called Casebook. The problem I think that we've run into is we're actually one of the bigger youth and family service departments with 4 people. Many of the other ones have 2 people or 3 people. We're not big enough for them to really,
Make a difference.
Casebook in particular has been very responsive when we've said, you know, we would really love it if your product did this, and they try, but you know.
Have any other towns developed access-based database?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Thinking that we could just use, get the bones and modify it. I mean, Access is a great tool. Honestly, I love it. And you can make it as complicated or basic as possible, depending on what your needs. But I would probably get an Access developer in to create the front end and reporting part of it.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Claire Reynolds. If any of you know her, that's what she tried to do for us.
Yeah.
Just to complicate matters, anything that we bring on board has to also be approved by or run by the IT department and the Municipal Technology Committee. And Access was not something that they were in support of. Again, they were looking for something that was more cloud-based and less dependent on programming and less dependent on somebody to help us with it. So she knew exactly what we needed and tried to put it together, but it kind of stalled out. So
all right, well, I'll keep Googling for you. There's gotta be something out there. I'm just,
Absolutely. I'll keep you guys posted on that.
yes, I'll be sitting.
I don't
on
know,
the needles.
that's all part of the director's report. I don't know if there's any additional questions or comments on that information.
If not, we'll move ahead to the strategic plan. We touched on it last time about strengthening the youth commission, and two of the ideas we had were onboarding new members, having a checklist for the onboarding of new youth commission members, and also offering an outreach training that Sarah would do, or her group would do for us as members, and that would have to be in the context of a meeting, we found out. So as far as the new member onboarding checklist, I think we're in a perfect place right now to ask what worked and what didn't work from Nancy and Karen. And we had talked about this at our last meeting. So when I got interest from both of you, I sent the strategic plan, had you connect with Sarah, gave some links to a few, like the Southborough Youth and Family Services website, as well as a Facebook for Southborough Youth and Family Services. Is there anything else that you think would have been helpful in learning about maybe attending a meeting? We could put that on the checklist too. I didn't think to
That's
say
what I
that-
thought. Maybe sit in on one meeting ahead of time. just to know
Okay.
what It's going to be like.
Yeah,
I would
or
Sometimes that
maybe,
moves fast.
yeah, or just let us know, like, as a new member, are we allowed to vote on the minutes? Like, because I know Nancy and I are just sitting here like,
Yes.
should we, should we not? I don't know.
Ah,
Like,
okay,
yeah,
so
maybe just like, as a new member, you're not expected to vote on minutes of a meeting, you weren't there. And then just a couple bullet points of like, so at least we're not just sitting here like, should we or should we not speak up or whatever, you know?
okay.
But otherwise, I think it was great. I loved meeting, Sarah, and just learning so much about the organization that I didn't even know. So it was so great that she sat and talked to me for an hour, because I had no idea that to the extent of what, Youth and Family Services did. And that was helpful in getting all the documentation to read ahead of time. So yeah, that was the only thing. I think it's more the logistics of this meeting and not having been in town meetings and what are you allowed to do? Are you allowed to vote or second something or whatever?
Yes, especially never having been on a town committee or board before.
Okay.
That's
I was
probably the
told
most
that-
confusing part.
I was told that you both received the open meeting law information, so you can, I think it's an online training program.
Yes.
Okay, so that's part of the onboarding as well. And we'll just follow up and make sure that that's something you have time to fit in.
I think that the open meeting law to the online, workshop or whatever presentation they call it, it's a little overwhelming. And I think it would be helpful to maybe have a basic kind of checklist of the types of things that we do at our board meeting, like, call to approve the minutes, call to adjourn. What does that mean? Somebody has to, bring it forward, somebody needs to second it, blah, blah, blah. Just some basic things. I mean, we try not to get too caught up in bureaucracy, but we also want to do what's right for the community and follow the letters of the law. But yes, I think it's a little overwhelming too. And as newcomers, I can definitely understand your angst in that department, but
I'm willing to bet that kind of stuff would be helpful for all of us. Like just today, right? Marguerite was saying, I don't think we have to vote to call the meeting to order, but we do have to vote to adjourn the meeting. It's like silly things like that happen every single meeting that
Like a little
is still hard to
cheat.
remember. And the process for what, how to vote on something, also knowing when do you have to vote versus when you don't, but Lauren, I wonder if even you feel like I'm not the authority on knowing all of that information. I almost wonder if, I will say, I attended a department head meeting this morning. I don't recall if this was one of their goals. But I know they were talking about training opportunities for boards and committees, I think, as one of their goals.
That'd
But
be
that
great.
feels like a guide, a quick
guide.
guide, you
Yeah.
know, of sorts for all boards and committees. And I don't know how soon something like that would come from town administration. It might be worth starting our own quick reference guide or something like that. But
Then running it by someone, just. to
yeah,
make sure
yeah,
we're
same.
doing
I think
it
it's
right.
a great idea because
Right.
it can be overwhelming and it can also kind of, I really appreciate the flow of conversation at our board meetings. And when you get stuck in all these, I don't know, the legalese. Yes, the process. Thank you, Sarah. It can make everything seem a little stilted. So if we know, like when we call a vote or make a motion, but in general, we have a very casual style and I'd like to maintain that, but having like a guideline, I think it'd be great. And
I
if
think
we
it's
can-
also, it's different if you're on Zoom versus in person too, for some of the roll call votes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right, right.
also-
We have a youth commission members job, sort of a role description that I can send to you both. I forgot to send that to you. And that would describe the the member roles and then the roles of the chair, vice chair, and secretary.
Okay.
Nancy, you were gonna say something.
I did want to say that I recently did I guess I'll call it homework for, the meeting laws, and I did the ethics training. And, I do remember it talked a lot about, when you need to, what you can discuss and, when it can be public and when you can go into executive session and things like that. But I don't remember anything about like how the meeting was actually run, like how to call it order, what you need to do to adjourn it, things like that. I don't think that was in there.
no, I don't think it's definitely not in the ethics one. Because that is, if you have an uncle who
Right.
has
That
a
one was,
construction
that was
business.
about nepotism and yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about Zoom? I saw that through March, this group has decided that you're going to stay remote. Is that still through March, or are people talking about coming in? Like, I just didn't know what people's feelings were on Zoom versus in person.
Well, the history of it is that we were supposed to go to in person this summer. And I think with a little bit of an uptick in the COVID cases, and they at the time they had not released permission for us to continue Zoom, and then they did release permission.
Like 1 week before the meeting, right?
Right. So we went ahead and took we had another discussion. We've had a discussion about every other meeting about it. And we're definitely open to whatever the group wants to do. So we have a couple new members and we can discuss this again. Part of it was finding a location, but that's seems to be not a problem. We found a location in the police department's building that we could meet. So maybe we can put that on the agenda for next meeting and see how things go with our new members.
Thank you.
Okay. How about Sarah? We had talked about having an outreach training for our youth commission members. We did touch base with Jim Hegarty, and he said that we couldn't just hold a training as such. It would have to be for open meeting laws because we would be discussing business. We would need to have this training done in this session like this, an open meeting.
For new members?
For any of us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were talking about, that for anybody, while you might become familiar with what we're doing, what we're not doing through the director's report, it's a lot of information.
Mhm.
And a lot of you have been very gracious in offering your time to help us do outreach. The open houses, for example, I know Susan went with Christina over to Woodward, and that's a fast-paced environment, so you're not necessarily going to be having more in-depth conversations, and Heritage Day is too a bit. But if I want people to feel as confident and as comfortable as they can with doing outreach and being able to answer questions, or feel like they could give that elevator pitch to somebody about what we do comfortably. So the idea was proposed that, I could theoretically, we could carve out some extra time in our next meeting for me to provide an overview and do that. It doesn't necessarily need to be a separate meeting, but it certainly will lengthen our discussion unless we don't have other things that we want to talk about. But
Is that something that we could take a kind of bullet points for and do a few bullet points at a time?
yeah,
I
I'm happy
know
to do that.
5-10 minutes worth of training, and then
Mhm.
over the course of 6 months, it'll.
Sure. Yeah. I could easily, we think about our services in 3 different categories. So I'm happy to do one category at a time. I don't even think it would need to be over the course of 6 months. Because again, there's, like some nuanced information about, well, would this be an anxiety skills training service or counseling? That's not stuff that's too in-depth. So I think I could give you, a high level overview, give you an opportunity to ask questions, and you can write things down. Everybody has their different way of saying things. Sarah Mikas one year at Finn came up with her own slogan. It was great. She was yelling, "Southborough Youth and Family Services, we're here for you," to everybody that she gave a bag to. And I was like, where did you come up with that? But, everybody has their different approach that they like to take. But I just thought that, you might feel more comfortable offering time to do outreach if you felt like you knew what it was you wanted to say, or, felt you could comfortably answer questions.
I think that'd be great.
I think dedicating for the next couple board meetings, 5 to 10 minutes each to do, a training. I like your idea of the 3 different areas, and perhaps we can all ask questions if there's things we don't really understand or need clarification. If you have your own slogan like me, you can add that. It's quite joyful to be out there in the community, I have to say, and it shouldn't feel intimidating because, we are doing a good thing and helping people. It's all about destigmatizing mental health and needing community support. And I just find that people are very receptive and happy that we are there and providing information. A lot of people do not know about us, and for a while we couldn't really, because we had limited resources, which we still do, but we were afraid that if we did too much outreach, we wouldn't be able to meet the needs. And we're in a better position now, which is fantastic. So I'm all for it.
Sarah, you have some competition. We have someone else.
Hi.
Oh,
What, are you doing your homework?
He's taking minutes.
He's taking notes. Oh, good. Thank you.
Do we have, I mean, you might be getting to this. Do we have a booth at Heritage Day to give people information? Okay.
We typically do. And yes, that is, I think, coming up on the agenda that's a good example of when we ask for some extra help because not every staff member is available on a particular weekend. And we try not to ask people to cover the entire day, but rather do shifts to make it a little bit more manageable. So
Would you be able to take young volunteers for something like Heritage Day? Like I'm thinking about my kids.
Possibly. I have recruited my own for various things at times, so.
I think
I
that's
think
a
I
great
have-
idea.
I have a couple girls that might like-
Honestly, I think it would be great to
Yeah.
have younger people out there.
Mhm.
They'll know their own peer group. I think getting the message out that way is a lot more effective than an adult saying, here, take these brochures.
We actually have a really fun, Shannon came up with this idea. I don't know what we're gonna do with it yet, but it's just to try to attract people to the table. We bought this Wheel of Fortune type spinning wheel that
I
sits
love
on a
it.
table. It's very colorful and it's dry erased, so you can write things on it. And what the heck we're gonna write on there, I don't know yet, but we will think of something.
Well, you can raffle off little prizes too, like
we could do little
like every
prizes,
other,
or
and then
we
you could put like nice affirmations and then
Yeah,
raffle
yeah.
off prizes.
Yeah. Or, there's a challenge of sorts, like you got to come up with a different coping strategy from different categories
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah.
so.
I apologize, but I have to leave the meeting.
Oh, okay. 1,
have to-
2, 3, 4.
I
Yep, I think,
Is that
we're,
okay.
yes,
All right. I'm sorry.
no
No
worries.
Okay, nice to meet you, Nancy.
Nice to meet you
Welcome
too.
aboard.
Okay.
Hi,
On
Nancy.
the board. Welcome aboard.
Bye.
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 All right, I think we're kind of wrapping it up. For the outreach, is Christina gonna send around
Doodle.
I'm
sign
gonna
up
ask
sheet?
her to.
Yes, please.
Okay, so just so people know to be thinking about it, Heritage Day is on Columbus Day, Monday, October 10th, I believe. So what I'll do is I'll ask Christina to do not a doodle poll, but a sign up genius.
Yeah.
And we'll do what we typically do, which is to break it up into 2 or 3 hour blocks, and you sign up for whatever you're able to do if you can. The worst case scenario is we have an empty table,
I
and
could bring a
okay.
goat. Do you want me to bring a goat?
a goat. I thought I heard you correctly. A goat and a Wheel of Fortune.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
My friend has 4 therapy goats, and it would be pretty
Therapy
funny.
goats.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of fun.
It would definitely be a attraction. So let me know.
Sure.
Be next to the Bacon Man this time.
Oh, goodness.
What's
gracious.
that?
Can we not be next to the Bacon Man this time?
Oh,
I
yeah,
know
no,
it.
man, that would be a problem.
Get next to my booth. My Girl Scouts do the candy jar booth, and so
Oh,
I
feel
remember
like
we were across
250
from them.
yeah, we fill out that might mine. So we last year did 250 jars of all the candy, and then the girls do them. So I'll be there, so I can definitely hop back and forth because my
wow,
girls
that's great.
they're in 7th grade, so they can run it now. I just like
That's
to
awesome.
spectate.
That's great.
I can actually request, because we have an inn right down the hall from us. I can request that we be right next to your troop potentially, if that's helpful.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Troop, what is it again?
62477.
62477. Okay.
Oh, that'd be super helpful. Then I can just bop back and forth all that.
Yeah.
Will they have samples of the new cookie? The
Not
chocolate
yet.
ones with raspberry?
Unfortunately, no, I know. We don't get any cookies till November, but that everyone's talking about the raspberry. It's like a thin mint, but it's raspberry and chocolate covered, and it's just exciting news.
Ladies,
It's
I'm
been a
not,
long time.
I'm not sure this is on the agenda. I don't know
No.
if we're allowed to. talk about- I'm just kidding.
I think we can wrap up, actually, if
Yes.
there's any other comments or questions.
I just wanted to look at the agenda really quick.
It was a relatively short one this time.
Yeah, you're right. Yep. Okay, so yeah, look out for that. I'll talk with Christina tomorrow and look out for the Sign Up Genius.
So we need to take a vote for adjournment and everyone can vote.
I
Um,
move to
So, one more
adjourn.
thing about this Sign Up Genius, was there anything about open houses and stuff of other upcoming events? I thought I saw more than just Heritage Day. No?
I just saw Heritage
The
Day.
open houses
Oh.
just occurred, so that would have been.
Open
on the
houses
last.
occurred. We've
Oh,
got
okay.
Trotter covered. Trotter happens on a different day, but we have 2 staff members who are handling that already, so.
Okay, yeah, I saw
we
Trotter.
need volunteers.
Oh, and then I just curious, have you had a good turnout? I'm gonna go to that Listen with Love, Talk with Love, Listen with Love workshop. Do you have a lot of people signed up for that yet? Or do you know?
I don't know that we do. And in fact, if you have thoughts, I know this is something that has been, unfortunately, I understand it, being a mom, being busy myself. When you finally have free time, it's hard to sign yourself up for something. However, and I know I'm biased, I cannot say enough about the workshop, all
I'm
of the
excited.
workshops
Yeah.
actually, but we unfortunately have not had the level of interest or signups that we've needed in order to justify running it, because it's not quite that comfortable to have a workshop for 2 people. So what we've been trying to do is sort of stockpile people, but then we get messed up with people's availability. So I'd be very happy to, one of the ideas we've had is to incentivize by having people enter a raffle if they attend. I don't know how much of an incentive that is. Incentivize by challenging the community. We did that with QPR. We said, let's see if we can get 100 people, to take this training. So it's been challenging. I know Shannon's been focusing her efforts more recently on providing the trainings for specific groups. So she's doing a QPR training over at the fire department for their staff. She's also doing a QPR training in, she's co-sponsoring something with Northborough, doing a QPR training for both communities, as well as doing something for the senior center. The senior center got wind of Listen with Love and wanted to have their own training. Scheduling has just been really hard.
Yeah.
So,
And would it help to promote it on our own individual pages, Facebook pages? Because I'm happy to do that, because I signed up, I want the workshop, and I'm just afraid that
Yeah.
if you're not part of the Southborough Youth and Family Services Facebook group, you had that great video, but how many people saw that and know what's going on in town? So if we all, I'm comfortable if people want to promote it, because I've been telling my friends about it. I'm like, oh, it's signed up, and they're like, when is it? I'm like, well, I know there's one on the 21st, because I signed up. So I'd be happy to try to drum up some interest, because I remember when they kind of like put that out there to try to get the 100 people to do QPR. Everyone was like, oh my God, such a great idea. And I think it was a pretty good turnout. So I don't know if, like you said, we try to get some more interest in somehow, and I'd be happy to help. But
thank you. That would be very helpful. I think initially we end up getting higher levels of interest, and then it kind of wanes over time. But I know Shannon was offering a lot more of these trainings. Now we're kind of doing some manufactured scarcity by not offering them as often, to try to get people to go, ooh, it's coming back around. She's actually developing another workshop called Say It with Love, which is a complement to Listen with Love. So I know she plans to put that in the rotation later this year. But again, it's just challenging to figure out when to offer it, how to offer it, because we've done online, we've done in person.
I've heard a lot, sorry to interrupt, I've heard a lot of,
okay.
at least in my circle of friends, that it's awkward when you do Zoom, because you're thrown into a breakout room and it's like,
Yep.
hi, like, I don't know you and I'm supposed to interact. So I think the in-person would be a lot more received, a lot
Yep.
better.
absolutely. I know for Shannon too, she, especially with QPR, she needs to be able to assess people's understanding of the information which is pretty important for the content. And she has a harder time doing that over Zoom than in person. So, yeah, so, I mean, that could be something I think I'd love to talk about that every meeting because there's such great workshops that I'd love to see, but we need to be able to sustain people's interest because, you know, we can't train everybody in one shot because we need to have sort of an intimate audience, but we also don't want to keep canceling things because we don't have too many people. So,
because then you're just gonna get that attitude, don't sign up because they'll cancel it.
yeah, yep,
And then you're like, don't bother because it'll be
Right.
canceled again. and You don't want
Yep.
that.
right. Right.
Yeah.
Or don't bother signing up. We have had people who have come to workshops and it was just 2 of them and they were good sports about it, but
But
that's not as comfortable. So that's another area where we've been talking to other youth and family service departments to see if we can co-sponsor some things together so that we get more bodies in the room so that people feel like their experience was beneficial. You know, you definitely need other people.
And doing it with Northborough is kind of interesting for, at least for me, because it's like the communities combine when you get to a high school level. So,
Right.
and you see people on sports and stuff like that. So it's not like random. I mean, you would have a somewhat of a community with these Northborough community, members because your kids go to school with them, you're going to see them on
Yeah.
sports fields. So.
Yeah, well, thank you. Anything you can think of you want to do already. And maybe we can talk about it more at length in a subsequent meeting.
Okay, so do I understand that 921 is getting canceled though? Or you're not?
I wouldn't say that. I don't know
Oh,
for
okay.
sure. Yeah.
But you just not have had a great response quite yet.
Right. Well, summer's hard too. I know that we haven't
Right.
offered much over the summer, but yes, I know we were supposed to have a QPR training tomorrow, and I do believe that has been canceled because we had only 1 person sign up.
Okay,
So.
well, I'll see what I can do and push this and talk to people and we'll see.
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, so if nothing else, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn the September 13th meeting of the Southborough Youth Commission at 8:23.
I second that.
So roll call votes, we do Karen England, aye or nay?
Aye.
Sarah Micas,
Aye.
Susan Byer,
Aye.
Lauren Ritchie, aye. So we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Have a great night.
Bye.
Yeah,
Have a good September.
you too.